Yesterday, it was reported that the FBI was suing, or I should say several agents were suing Trump and the DOJ to prevent the turning over of information related to J6 cases. Well, I got bad news. You can file your suits, but CNN was reporting FBI turns over details of 5,000 employees who worked on J6 cases to Trump DOJ. Trump won. You know, they're trying to run these stories where they're claiming that Democrats are flooding the zone with activism, launching all of these lawsuits against Trump and his administration. But it appears what is happening is that Trump is winning. Trump's executive actions and the efforts that are being made are wildly successful. And the FBI is going to be reformed. There's going to be accountability. CNN is reporting now that even though agents are suing, Trump's got the info. The lawsuit's going to go to court, and the judge is going to say it's moot. The information has already been turned over. Perhaps they'll say you can't use it, but what does it matter? Trump and his team now know which agents were working on these cases. Now, here's the interesting thing. It is an overwhelming number of FBI agents who were working on J6 cases. I believe the number was about 13,000 FBI agents, and 5,000 were working on J6. Why not May 29th? Why not Antifa and the far left? Why were they going after, what was it, 1,500 people? No joke. 5,000 FBI agents were going after 1,500 J6ers. I got questions. Here's a story from CNN Politics. They say, FBI officials have complied with demands to provide the Justice Department with details of thousands of employees who worked on investigations related to the January 6 U.S. Capitol riot, according to people familiar with the situation. The demand has caused consternation among FBI employees who fear it is meant to amass a list of personnel for possible termination by the Trump admin. I'd imagine so, and why not? Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove, in a Friday memo, with the subject line terminations, had given FBI officials a noon deadline Tuesday to submit the details of thousands of agents and analysts. Bove previously ordered the firing of 8 senior FBI officials, including those who oversaw cyber, national security, and criminal investigations. More than 5,000 employee details were submitted, including employee ID numbers, job titles, and their role in the J6 investigations, sources said, but not their names. There have been more than 13,000. There are more than 13,000 agents and 38,000 total FBI employees. Meanwhile, officials dispatched by Elon Musk have been seen at FBI headquarters. Musk has headed up efforts by President Trump's newly formed Department of Government Efficiency, which is not a real thing, by the way. But several FBI employees on Tuesday sued the DOJ, accusing it of violating the Constitution and privacy laws by demanding that agents complete a survey allegedly designed to purge Bureau personnel. The agents want a federal judge to block the Trump admin from publishing or releasing the surveys or any information included in their answers. Quote, the very act of compiling lists of persons who worked on matters that upset Donald Trump is retaliatory in nature, intended to intimidate FBI agents and other personnel and to discourage them from reporting any future malfeasance and by Donald Trump and his agents. The lawsuit alleges the survey agents were required to fill out include questions about their positions at the Bureau and specific roles in J6 investigations, including whether they executed arrests, participated in grand jury investigations, or testified at trials, according to a copy of the survey included in the lawsuit. The lawsuit was brought by several anonymous FBI employees as a class action complaint. My friends, accountability cometh. These people were targeting protesters. Now, the interesting thing about January 6th, which I like to bring up, is that, well, first, none of it makes sense. Certainly, you had people fighting with cops. You had a conflict on one side of the building, and it's bad. And rioters should be held accountable. I obviously, you hit a cop, you go to jail. But why a nationwide manhunt? Why raid the home of a woman in Alaska because she may have looked like another woman at the Capitol? That was a big story. There was a woman who was in D.C., not at the Capitol. She looked like another woman who was at D.C. because, well, sometimes people look alike. They raided her home. When you look at everything that's going on, it only makes sense in the context that They expected members of Congress to be harmed in some way. But it didn't happen. Why? There was a police officer who ordered the evacuation without orders from his higher-ups. Now, he ended up getting in trouble for some reason or another. But according to some journalists who've worked on this, they believe the U.S. government, when this was happening, wanted it to escalate so they would have a justification for stopping Donald Trump. Now, think about it. You had all these court cases claiming Trump was an insurrectionist. This was their salvo to stop him from running again. Imagine if J6 happened and members of Congress actually got hurt or worse. Then they'd say people died, people were maimed, whatever it may be. This is serious. And maybe then they would have succeeded in shutting down Donald Trump. The courts would say, look, there was violence, blah, blah, blah. Instead, the court said nothing happened. You had a riot. Some people got arrested. It was like 800 rioters and a total of 1,500 people, including another, 700 who were walking around the building, nonviolent misdemeanors. Why then have a nationwide manhunt? Well, maybe they weren't intending on anybody getting hurt and they thought this play would work. But, my friends, it didn't. They say groups representing current and former agents reached out to congressional Republicans to urge the White House to abide by Patel's promise in the Senate last week that agents wouldn't face political retribution for working on cases they were assigned. So as I mentioned earlier, I was watching The Daily Show, and they said, is this legal? Yeah. Donald Trump, apparently there was a memo sent out to the feds, and it said that Trump doesn't trust he can have these people do their jobs because they targeted Trump supporters. Did they go after Antifa? No. What about the May 29th insurrection where Trump was forced into an emergency bunker? No. Now, Trump was president at the time. I guess he wanted to win re-election, was scared of using a heavy hand. Now, not so much. But in 2020, thousands of far leftists firebombed the White House grounds. You all know it. Where was the nationwide manhunt for these people? Nowhere to be found. Nobody on January 6th firebombed the Capitol grounds. That didn't happen. So why are we here? Because the FBI is a political machine, and the people who work at the FBI either are complicit in or overtly partisan. And Trump says, I don't trust that you will do your job faithfully and uphold the Constitution because you've already proven you won't. Seriously, 5,000 agents were going after J6ers? I mean, most of these people, nonviolent misdemeanors. So why? Yeah, it was politics. They wanted to prevent Donald Trump from winning, and they failed. Well, my friends, we got more. Before we get into it, make sure you check out the Green Room. I know I'm promoting a lot, but the Green Room number 73 with Terry Schilling and Mary Morgan, people are raving about it. They're saying it was really, really great, and you should definitely check it out. So, hey, look, man, when someone comes and says, you guys did a great thing, I'm going to promote it. You know what I mean? So like Ian's Graphene Dream over at Cash Brew is sold out. So I tell everybody, like, dude, his coffee is selling like crazy. So with the Green Room with Mary Morgan and Terry Schilling, I'm getting a lot of good feedback. Maybe we should encourage you guys to go check it out if you haven't. Click the link in the description below. Become a member at timcast.com. Check out these uncensored behind-the-scenes conversations. This one was a good one. It was a good one. Well, now outside of the FBI, my friends, Trump has found another method for gutting the CIA. He's offering a buyout to the entire workforce as he shrinks the government. Now, with the FBI, he's basically saying, did you violate your oath and are you untrustworthy? And they're going to have to say yes or no. With the CIA, he's saying, look, I'll give you money. You go home. You don't do your job. The challenge here is that a lot of these people may be politically motivated. So they're not going to want to just walk away. They're going to say, no, I'm going to stay here and keep working. I'm not taking your buyout. They're going to try to become the active resistance. Trump is facing a very serious uphill battle with all of this, in that political ideologues, communists or otherwise, are entrenched in government and money does not motivate them. There will be lawsuits. They will file their attempts. They will refuse the buyouts. And it's going to get interesting to see where all of this goes. Now, I can't predict the future, but I can at least point out Trump is making his moves. So, my friends, I'm going to wrap it up there. We do have, I don't know if I'm having another segment for you guys. There's not much more to add to the story other than the FBI's already lost, so we'll see. Smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know, become a member over at timcast.com. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all at least Timcast IRL tonight at 8 p.m.